respond to that. So I'm going to display a question on the board, and then we'll work out the question, and we'll see if we can put some information on the question inside our database. Is that okay?
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Anyway, are there any questions from the mid-sem you did or anything I have to know?
No, so I think that the midterm was okay. I mean, talking from my perspective, so it was okay.
And everybody here has done the assignment, right?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That means I think they sent a message that you have to put in the assignment 2. So we have to submit assignment 2 in your Moodle platform. Okay. So I'll be doing that tomorrow. So it means next week, be checking the platform and do the assignment over there. Is that okay?
Okay, sir.
So I'll be connecting my screen to I'll be connecting my screen very, very soon. I'm just trying to go and get the question we'll be doing in class today. I think this question is at all. And then we'll use the question and walk through the question and find some solutions for what we have to do. So 1 second, I'll come on. Just a second, I'm coming. My PC has frozen. Okay, so I would ask one of you to read the question for me, okay?
Okay, sir.
So any of you who feels comfortable, just read the question for me.
Sir, I can read it.
Okay, 1 second. I have to save this so I can send it to the school. I think it's saved. That's fine. All right. So one of you should read it for me. Can you see, by the way?
Okay. Yes, sir, I can see it.
All right. So I'm putting on the recording too. So after the course, I can see. Okay. So let's go.
Okay. The impact of COVID-19 on the citizenry has not been good, especially when it comes to buying of food and the payment for the provision of essential services, such as light and water bills. After lockdown, the government decided to support customers by halving the customers' light bills. A, write a program to request for customers' name, previous and current meter reading in kilowatts per hour, 2 marks. B, your program should categorize customers into domestic, commercial, and industrial based on the quantity of electricity consumed. The categorization should follow: 1, domestic, if less than or equal to 100 kilowatt is consumed. 2, industrial, if more than 100 kilowatt but less than or equal to 200 kilowatt is consumed.
Okay.
So I think I can't see the rest.
Okay, sorry.
3, commercial, when more than 200 kilowatt is consumed.
Okay.
Then question C, define a function to compute the amount to be paid based on the following consumption pattern. For 1, domestic customers, 0.3 Ghana cedis per kilowatt for the first 60 kilowatt and 0.5 Ghana cedis for the rest. 2, industrial customers, 0.5 Ghana cedis per kilowatt for the first 120 and 0.75 Ghana cedis for the rest. Commercial customers, 0.9 Ghana cedis for the first 201 kilowatt and 1.5 Ghana cedis for the rest. After computing the amount to be paid in C above, your program should compute an additional 2% for rural electrification and street lights based on the amount to be paid and add to the amount to be, can you scroll up?
All right. Is it okay?
Amount to be paid and classify it as total amount to be paid. Your program should then display the result. Your result should include the customer's name, quantity of electricity consumed, category, and total amount to be paid. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So who has a problem with what he just read? Who has a problem with what he just read?
I think before we continue, I want to ask, I recall for the Java, you gave us a similar question like this.
Great. So it is a similar question. We are coming to redo it in
PHP.
In PHP.
Okay. So that can we use the similar method we used for this?
Of course. Anyone here with a problem with the question, not you don't understand something or something? We all understand everything. We are all good to go.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
No, yeah, I'm okay.
Okay. You see, one thing in which I've realized when I'm teaching these programming classes is that the students make 2 mistakes. The first mistake they make is they assume us solving the question is us doing programming. It is not. Us solving the question is not us doing programming. The programming is me teaching you, oh, if statement, this is how we write it. Oh, for statement, this is how we write it. Oh, if you want to connect to the database, this is how we write it. That is me teaching you the course. The questions, they are there for you to illustrate that, but that's not the course. That means that the understanding of the question and how you would utilize the tools, the if statement, the for statement, the while statements, the functions, all of those things, to solve particular problems is coming from you. So whenever I ask, do you understand, read, pause, those kind of questions, it is me giving you the opportunity to voice out what you are thinking. What you are thinking of the concept, what you are thinking of how the thing is being done. It's very important. Because a slight misunderstanding of how you are thinking of things, or you not seeing something in a particular light, changes the whole meaning of the thing. Now, you've done this question before, as one of your members was saying, but this time we're going to give it an interface. We're going to give it a workout using a particular interface. So, as always, I would start by opening a folder. So here I have my folder. And in my folder, I would go directly into my XAMPP. And in here, I'll put my work in this folder here. So I'll create a new folder here and call this new folder electricity. And in here, I will just right click, open terminal, and then in here, I will type in code space dot. And then I'll open my application in the VS Code. In here, I'm going to create a new index.php file. In here, I'm going to create my HTML tag. In here, I'm going to give my title, my head, my title, my close title. In here, the title of my page is ECG calculator. Under this, I'm going to do my body. In here, I'm going to give a H3 tag and say, welcome to ECG Ghana. P tag, enter your information to help calculate your, what are we even calculating? Who can tell me? Based on the question here, what are we calculating? The person's bill, or? Yes, so the person's bill. To calculate your bill. That. Wonderful. Now, I need to calculate the information here. So from the beginning, they asked me to ask the person for his or her name, the previous and current meter reading in kilowatts. That means over here, I need to, number one, ask for the person's name and kilowatt watch reading. So on my screen now, if I come here and then just type in my local, let me pop this up, localhost / electricity, so like electricity will be somewhere here. This is what I have so far. Welcome to ECG. Oh, we see EGC. Let me change it to ECG. So welcome to ECG Ghana. And then on my screen here, enter your information to help calculate your work. So what information are we going to ask the person? The person's name, current and previous meter reading. So over here, by the way, if I want to do a comment using HTML, I will do the slash like this and that. I'm going to ask the person for this information. Now, if I'm asking you for information, I need to do a form. So I'll bring my form tag. I'll do my form tag. And then after I do my form tag, are we okay? I am going to do a label. And the label is for the person's full name. And in here, I'm going to make the label enter full name. And then I'll close my label. Here I'll have an input tag. It is going to take text. So the type of input that is going to take is what? Text. The name value of my input is going to be fname. And the ID value of my input is going to also be fname. And then over here, I'll add a placeholder so that I can tell the person, enter your full name. I'll make this a capital N, I'll make this a capital U. Then I'll bring a slash here, and then I will close my input tag. I'll do the same thing again over here. I will do the same thing over here, but and this one, I'll do the same thing again, but this will have no label. So now I can make some changes. Here, instead of me saying enter full name, I'll just say previous. Are we okay? Reading. Over here, I'll say P reading. That means that over here should be P reading, and over here should be P reading. Then here would be enter previous reading. Over here, I'm going to tell the person to enter the C reading. So instead of me saying P reading, I'll say C reading. Here also be C reading. Here also be C reading. Sorry. C reading. Oh, C reading. So that the entire flow of this one will be current reading. Then here, so since these are going to be readings, I'll make them number. I'll make this also a number. But for this, I'll make it a submit. And over here, I'll call the name of my submit. The ID of my submit. A submit button does not have any value, any placeholder, but it will have a value that I will call calculate reading, calculate bill. See. Now, on my screen, what will I see? I will see a place for the person to enter this, enter that, enter, but everything is on one line. Remember, HTML puts everything on one line, but I don't want everything to be on one line. So I'll use the break to separate the two things. Wonderful. So that when I come back here and I refresh, everything will now look like this. Okay. Remember that you control everything on the screen. Everything I just did is showing me this. Are there any problems so far? Anything someone doesn't understand so far?
Yes, sir.
Are we all okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I'm okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So now I must start working my computations. So you see, when I fill this form here, so here I type, let's say, Henry Hansen. And here his previous meter reading was 200,000, and now it is 3,000. And I click calculate bill. On the URL over here, I can see F name is equal to Henry Harrison. P reading is this, C reading is this, submit is equal to calculate plus what? Bill. You can see that. Now, the information, I don't want it to travel through here. That means that I must come here and tell it that the method of transmission of my data should not be the default, which is get, but it should be now what? Post. So this takes care of that for me. So now the information is going to be transferred using what? Post. Also, when you take the information, I want you to transfer the information to a place in which I'm calling process.php. That means that over here, I need to create a new file called process.what? PHP. So I'm here now. Now I think I've made a spelling mistake here. So this one is supposed to be name and M is supposed to be here. Great. Perfect. Now over here, I'm supposed to have P this. And in here, when I fill in my information from here, so now I fill in this as Henry Hansen. I fill in this as 2,000. I fill in this as 3,000. And I click on calculate bill. I am sent to process.php because I told it to send me to process.php. So the information is now here. So it means in here, the first step I must do is go and collect the information that is coming in here. So here I'm going to say fname, a variable in PHP, is equal to $_post into brackets fname. I'm going to say again that C previous or I call it P reading, right? P reading is equal to $_post square bracket T reading. And of course, the next one will be what? C reading. So it means over here, C reading is equal to that. Now, if I am to display this on my screen, I will see that if I go click on the back button, I have this, I click here, I would see what's here. Henry Harrison, 2000, 3000, and all of them are coming from what? Process.php. So now my data is being transferred. So I've gathered the data now. The data has been gathered. Wonderful. This is great. Even though my data has been gathered, when I come back here, I want the bill. The bill is what I'm looking for. The bill. I want the bill. How do I get the bill? So I need to come to my question here. And they said that what? Your program should categorize customers, including customers, into domestic, commercial, and industrial, based on the quantity of electricity consumed. The categorization should be as follows. And this is what I have for the categorization. If I am writing code, I've just created a comment and put it in here so I can have it here. But if I'm writing code, what structure would I use to solve this? What structure of coding do we use to solve this? Who can tell me?
So is it the if statement?
It is the if statement. But is it just a single if statement?
No, sir. Multiple, I think multiple if statements.
So it is the if else if statement.
Yes, sir.
Are we clear? One
So is
second.
that if else if, eh?
Yes, please.
Okay.
So you see, whenever you are faced with a scenario, whenever you are faced with a scenario, you should know what structure he's using. Like, what structure will you be using? And since I'll be using the if statement for this structure, it means I need to go if. But you see, I have a problem here. How will I know the total consumed for that period? I would have to use consumed. So it means before I can use the if statement, I have to know how much he consumed. How will I know how much he consumed? I will know how much he consumed by taking the current reading and subtracting it from the what? Previous reading. So if, into brackets, what he consumed, they said that if it is less than or equal to 100. So if what he consumed is less than or equal to 100, then that person is going to be the type of that person. So U type is going to be what? Domestic. Else, if are we okay? What he consumed is more than this, and it is less than that. So if it is more than 100, and at the same time, it is what he consumed is less than or equal to 200. Else, if what he consumed is more than 200, then he is what? His type is going to be commercial. And for the second one, his type is going to be what? Industrial. Now, what you see here, this is the translation of that. What you see there, that is its word. Translation. Do we have a problem with that? Are you there?
No, sir.
Now, from there, I'm moving to the next half of the question. Note how I am solving this. You see, I'm not solving it from everything as once. I've broken it down. I am solving it piece by piece. Note how I'm solving it. Note how I'm thinking through it. Note the questions I am asking myself to solve it. I'm not rushing. I'm not rushing. Define a function to compute the amount to be paid based on the following assumption patterns for if the customer is falling within these ranges, then that is what we are going to assume for the customer. That's fine. Oh, that's fine. So I'll put that information in here so that I can have it here. And you are saying that what? If the customer is a domestic customer, that means that for every kilowatt he is spending, he will charge him 0.3 for the first 60. And the rest will charge him this. If it is an industrial customer, then we'll do that for the person. But they want us to write all of this thing in here as a function. That means that in my coding, I need to create a function. So how will I create a function in PHP? I will just type the keyword what? Function, and give it a name. The name in which I'm going to give it is going to be based on what it is doing. What is it doing? It is going to compute the amount to be paid. So over here, I'll call it compute amount to pay. Ta-da. Over here, compute amount to be paid. What is it going to take? It's going to take what type of customer we have, and then his kWh, his kilowatts. Okay, in here, I can choose to use a switch statement, or I can choose to use an if statement, based on the fact that most of you here are already okay with the if statement. Let's use the switch statement. So here I'm going to say switch. And I'm switching based on the type of user. That's great. So in the case that the type of user, very key, we have to use domestic, the way we spelled it over here. Then we will do the follow, and after that we will break. But what will we do? We are going to check if the kilowatts in which the person spent is less than or equal to 60. And if it is less than or equal to 60, then we are going to tell the computer to return are we okay? 0.3 times the person's consumption, which is the kWh. That. Now, if it is not, then for that person, we are going to return 0.5 times the person's kWh. That. So I'm done with domestic. Now, in the case that the person is an industrial customer, then we are going to do the following. We are going to check if his first kilowatts is what? 120. And if it is, then we are going to tell the computer to basically the same structure to return. And what are we returning? 0.5 per kilowatt hour. And then if it is the other way around, then we are going to be charging the person 75. Now, in the case, again, that the individual we have is a commercial client, then we break. Over here, for that person, it is basically the same thing. But in this case, the amount we are checking is 201. So here we are charging 201. And then in there, we are charging 9 here And in here, we are charging 1.5. Now, if you are not found in any of them, then by default, we should return 0. Now, I am done with my function. So here I'll create a variable and say amount to pay is equal to compute amount to be paid into brackets U type, comma, consume. If I use the same name, U type here and consumed here, there would have been a conflict. That's why I changed the names here. So I'll give it the type of user and amount consumed, and it will go and calculate and return back to me the amount to be paid, which will be stored over here. So I've completed this half. Over here, they said, after computing the amount to be paid in C above, your program should compute an addition 2% for rural traffication and light based on the amount to be paid. Add to the amount to be paid and classify it as total amount to be paid. Okay, so it means that once I get the total to be paid, get the amount to be paid, I must calculate the total amount to pay, which is equal to the amount to be paid plus into brackets the amount to be paid again times 0.02 for traffic, for electricity, the power lights and all of this. Okay, no problem. Your program should then display the result. Your result should include the customer's name, quantity of electricity consumed, his category, and the amount to be paid. So now I can go and do this. And say, echo, because I'm in PHP, right? So I'll in here, I'll do a H3 and say your bill. Into brackets. I'll do this, and bring 2 dots here. And in here, I'll put what? F-name. And then in here, I'll come and echo out a line, HR. I'll come again and say previous meter, semicolon. And then I'll bring a dot here and call on P reading. Echo out again. Let me do this number 1, number 2 dot. Current meter. I'll do 2 dots again. I'll give some space, dot, give a space. Here I'll bring a dots, and then I'll say what? Oh, like see. $sign C echo number 3 on the list is what? Total consumed. I'll bring semicolon space dot here, and the variable I put it in is what? Consumed. Echo that. I'll bring that. I'll bring stars over here. Over here, I'll bring this. I'll say echo. I'll bring that. They said we should bring what? His name, his category. Okay. So category. And then I'll bring that. So that's here, I'll bring a space. Here, I'll bring that. And then here, I'll say U type. Are we okay? Are we okay? I'll bring echo that. And then I'll say total amount to pay. I'll bring that. Because of this, I'll bring this here so that everything will be in line. Good. And here I'll just bring a dot here and call it $sign total amount. That. And here I'll just echo out thank you. Stop. And then I can run this. Now they said something over here again. Your result should include the amount to be paid and then that and that. Okay, that's fine. So now I've done everything they asked me for. I will come to my screen. I will go back here. Now here, I can see that spending 1,000 Ghana cedis on electricity for the month is very, very high. Means it's very, 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 very high. So here, let me do it this. Oh no, this person is going to be, I'm doing this. Oh, no, this is too much. Okay, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. So now let's calculate the bill for Henry Harrison. When I click this, look at what it is telling me. The meter read, the bill for Henry Harrison. The meter reading is this. His previous reading is that. His total is that. And everything is there. But they are all showing in one big line. Can we see that? I don't want that. So it means I'll have to come back here. And then over here, I'll add a dot. And then I'll add a break over here and bring myself up. So now for all of them, I'll do the same thing. Wonderful. And then finally here too, I'll do that. So now over here, if I go back, if I click here, I'll see what? Here, here, here. This guy is domestic. He's supposed to pay this. Of course, we know that he's supposed to pay that in cedi. So over here, I'll just add GHC over here, so that the guy can see that, yeah, he's supposed to pay what? Cedi. Ta-da. If I go back and I increase the guy from this to this, then I calculate his bill, I can see, oh, he's commercial now, he's paying this. If I go back and then I increase his thing to this, then I can see that, oh, this guy now is commercial, and he's paying what? This. Everything is working perfect. Everything is working to perfection. Any questions?
No, sir.
We understand everything. Are we sure?
Because I believe if we keep watching the video after you send it, we'll be okay. I will be okay personally.
Yeah, me too. If I practice more, I will understand everything more.
I will be dropping similar questions that we have done before in your group.
Okay.
By Friday, you should have worked them all. When you are done working it, I want you to show me the work you have done privately in your WhatsApp, individually. Is that okay?
Okay, sir.
Now, when we come next week, we will take all of them, including this one, and we will do all of them again. But this time, when we are redoing all of them again, we would use JavaScript and Ajax to call the information for us. Is that okay? Is that okay?
That's okay, sir.
So I'll be dropping in after the class ends. I'll be dropping 4 questions for you. From now till Friday, you have all the liberty in the world to do it whenever you want.
Okay, sir.
Practice is very important, especially when it comes to coding. Practice. It is not hard. If it was hard, I can't do it because I'm the laziest person you will ever meet in this earth. So if I can code, that means that you can code too. Anyway, I'll see you all next week, or perfectly, I'll see you all during the week when you are sending me your code. Do it yourself. There is no point letting someone do it for you. Just do it yourself. If you make a mistake, you correct it, you improve, and everything will be okay.
Okay, sir.
Are there any questions? If there are no questions, then thank you all for coming. If there are no questions, then thank you all for coming. We'll meet again next week when we redo everything again. But this time we are going to be using JavaScript and Ajax so that we will see how we can write our code with only HTML, but we'll connect to our server using Ajax, and then we'll start building a front-end, back-end application and see how that goes. See you next week.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you.